I will be doing a quick tank review for the Soviet tier-10 heavy tank, the IS-7. This is one of my favorite vehicles at tier 10. This vehicle, as long as you play it right and use the already angled armor, which is quite good, especially at tier 10, to your advantage, you can ricochet a lot of rounds. This vehicle, it is like the IS-3 at tier 8, but it is a better version of it. As long as you know how to play the IS-3 quite well, then you will have no issue playing the IS-7 quite well. Let's get to the tank stats now. The IS-7. You will have 2,150 hit points. That is not a lot of hit points for a tier 10 heavy tank. To put the hit point pool into a picture, the French AMX 50B have 2,100 hit points, and the most amount of hit points that a heavy tank can have in game, it would be the mod, which would have 3,000 hit points. So you do not have a lot of hit points for a tier 10 heavy tank. I generally find that if I get this tank into the wrong position at the wrong time, this tank can be killed easily enough from APCR rounds from the front if they hit a weak part of the tank from the front or from the side. So be careful about that. This vehicle also it is a artillery magnet as well, so be careful about that. If artillery rounds hit the engine, you are going to be moving quite slowly. This vehicle, it weighs about 71 tons. My setup, it is 69 tons. The 1,050 horsepower engine, you will have a 15% chance of engine fire, which is not a big issue for this tank. I generally find that the tank, it is not set on fire easily enough, so you don't need to worry about engine fires. The vehicle top speed, it is 60 kilometers. You can only reach this when you are going downhill. For my vehicle setup, the horsepower to ton ratio, it is about 15 horsepower to 1 ton, which makes the IS-7 a quick heavy tank at tier 10. The vehicle hold traverse, it is decent enough, 28 degrees. The IS-7 armor, as it is just like the IS-3 and the IS-8, you have a pike nose armor layout in the front. If you want to make use of the armor, you have to face directly to the enemy to make use of the pike nose angled armor. Also, if you can get the vehicle into a hold down position and only show the upper hull of the tank here and the turret only, you can ricochet a lot of rounds in this tank. The weak part of the tank, it is the lower glacis plate, the vision part here, where it is with a well placed shot here, you can damage the tank. If you do have the height advantage, you can easily penetrate the top of the tank here. The armor here above the tracks, that can be pinned easily enough, and the rear as well. I find that the crew and the modules can be damaged easily enough from the side. The armor from the front. If you want to make use of the angled armor here, do not angle it because it is angled already. If you angle one side of the armor here, you will be reducing the armor effectiveness on the other side, so watch out for that. The armor for the hull, it is 150 millimeters plus with the angling added in. Side, it is 150, but the side armor, it is made up of space and angled armor here. So if a enemy round hit here, it may just disappear or just ricochet off. Rear, it is 100 millimeters thick. The rear side armor to the left and to the right here, if you just angle it right, you can ricochet rounds as well with that. If you are shooting the IS-7 from the rear, just aim at the engine department here or at the rear of the turret, as this is where the least amount of armor is on the tank. The turret armor, it is quite good. The gun mantelette, it is quite thick as well. The turret armor in the front, it is 240 millimeters thick with angling added on top. Side, it is 185 millimeters, but with angling added on top of it, you can get ricochets from the side of the turret as well. If you are shooting it from the side, don't even bother shooting the turret, unless if you have a high pinning gun, you will have a problem pinning the turret. It is just best to shoot the side of the hull armor here, and most of the time your round will go through and penetrate the tank. Rear, it is 94, which can be pinned easily enough. This vehicle, when it comes to armament, you will have a 130 millimeter S-70 gun. This gun, it is a low rate of fire gun, about 4 rounds per a minute. You have good pen on average when it comes to AP and APCR rounds. So as long as you know where you are shooting at, you can pen most vehicles just using AP AP only. I would only save APCR rounds for tanks that you have a problem penning. Most of the time, I find armor piercing round will do the job. I would generally save the APCR rounds when it comes to E100 mods and those such heavily armored vehicles. This vehicle gun, it is a high damage gun. On average, you will do about 500 damage, which is quite good. So in a minute, you can do about 2,000 damage with this gun if all of the rounds penetrate and hit a enemy tank. You can increase the rate of fire up to 5 with vents and a brother in arms. The gun gun accuracy, it is decent enough at 0.40. The aiming time, it is a bit long, 3.1 seconds. The turret traverse, it is 25 degrees, which is decent enough. The vehicle hull and turret traverse, they are decent enough. But when it comes to enemy tanks flanking you, they can do the circle of death to you all day long before you can actually land a shell onto them if they are circling you all day. So pay attention to enemy tanks that are flanking you and are going to do a circle of death to you. This vehicle have a good view range, 400 meters. If you want to have maximum view range in this tank, get a coated optics mounted. With coated optics and crew perks added on top, you can easily have 450 meters of view range. This vehicle have a 720 meter signal range for its radio, which is good enough. This vehicle, it have nothing to research on it, which is good. Let's cover the pros and cons of the IS-7. The pros and cons for the IS-7. As a Tier 10 heavy tank, you will be getting yourself into Tier 10 matches only. How do you use the tank? You will be using it as a frontline heavy tank, as a brawler, as a support tank, and as a flanking vehicle as well. What is good about the IS-7? The armor, it is quite thick and it is angled from the front, so you can ricochet a lot of rounds if you know how to use the armor right. Especially if you get the tank into a hold down position and only show the upper part of the hull armor here and the turret, you can ricochet a lot of rounds there. This tank armor, if you angle it just right, you can even ricochet Tier 10 TD's APCR rounds when they are being fired at you. The vehicle side armor, with it being thicker still, you can get the auto ricochet still. The gun, as it is a high damage per a shot gun, you can do a lot of damage within a minute, about 2,000 damage on average with this gun within a minute. This tank, from personal experience, this is a very good clan war tank to use if you know how to use it right when it comes to clan wars. Now to the cons of the tank. Due to the low rate of fire, you cannot do a lot of damage per a minute. At a Tier 10, 2,000 damage per a minute, that is not a lot if you are comparing the damage output for other Tier 10 heavy tanks at this tier. Most Tier 10 heavy tanks will be doing more than 2,000 damage for 1 minute if their rounds get to penetrate and hit for every single round fired within that minute. The vehicles have a lot of the same weak parts as the IS-3 does. You can only reach the top speed going downhill only, and you have the second least amount of hit points as a tier 10 heavy tank. Some of the side notes that I made while playing this tank, as long as you can play the IS-3 just fine, you will have no problem playing the IS-7. Let's cover the equipment, consumables, and the ammo layout that you will be using on the IS-7. Let's begin off with the consumables. I would use a first aid kit, a repair kit, and the third one, it is up to you. You can use a manual fire extinguisher if you want to. The good thing about the premium consumables, they will give you a permanent bonus when they are not used. The large repair kit will repair all of the module damage when you use it once. It will also improve the repair speed by 10%. When you combine this with the toolbox and the repair parts, your repairs will get done faster. First aid kit. This will treat large first aid kit. This will treat all of the crew members within a single use. The permanent effect, it will give you an extra 15% protection when it comes to crew member injuries. When you combine this with the heavy spall liner, you will have a greatly reduced chance of the crew member getting injured. Combat rations, this will increase the crew performance by 10%, which is not that bad at all if you can afford it when it comes to credits or gold. The automatic fire extinguisher. When you have this equipped, it will give you a extra 10% chance of engine fire reduction. The automatic fire extinguisher with the 10% chance of engine fire reduction. When you combine the firefighting parts on top of this with the automatic fire extinguisher, your chance of the tank being set on fire will be about 5%. Still, the tank can be set on fire even at 5%. This vehicle carries a good amount of ammo, 30 rounds of ammo. This tank, I generally find that you do not run out of ammo when you are using this tank. From time to time, you can run out of ammo in this tank if the match is going to be a long one. The two main ammo types that you will be using, it is AP and APCR. The damage output, it is the same for both. The only difference, it is the pen difference. AP, most of the time, you will have no problem penetrating vehicles up to tier 10 if you know where you are shooting at. I would generally save APCR rounds for when I am facing heavily armored tanks at a tier 9 or 10 area. APCR rounds will cost you 4,800 credits or 12 gold. HE, if you hit a semi target vehicle in game, you can do a lot of damage with the HE. I would save HE only for resetting cap or just to shoot at a semi-armored target. The equipment that I use on the IS-7. I used a large caliber tank gun rammer, a enhanced gunning drive, which reduces the aiming time by 10% and bring it down to 3. With the enhanced gunning drive, it reduces the aiming time from 3.1 seconds to 3 seconds. The vertical stabilizer, this will give me a extra 20% to accuracy during movement and turret rotation. When you combine the vertical stabilizer with an enhanced gunning drive, the aiming circle it is shrunk a bit. The equipment that you can use on the IS-7 if you want to. Improve ventilation. This will improve the overall tank performance and while improving the crew by 5% as well. Toolbox to get your repair toolbox to get your repairs done faster by 25%. Heavy spoil liner. This gives you a extra 30% when it comes to armor protection from ramming and HE rounds. It's also improved the crew protection from injuries by 30% as well. If you want to have maximum view range of 450 meters plus, use coated optics with the view range enhancement perks as well. I have three replays to show you how you can use the IS-7 properly. Let's get to them now. This replay, I will show you how well the IS-7 can perform when it is by itself in a city environment. Let me speed up the replay a bit. First thing first, I head to the middle of the map to get that part of the map under our hold. I have my platoon member, Solar Child, in his M53-55 giving me support when I need it. I am being careful as I push forward, knowing that there could be vehicles around base area still. I am falling back a bit, using the terrain here as extra protection. I am hiding my lower glacis plate with the debris here. When I came out in the open here, I checked both ways to see what it is around me. At this time of the match, the enemy team was divided on two fronts, the west and the east. Here, I take advantage of being in the middle of the map and not being seen yet. I got a moderately high roll there against that light tank. Seeing the Jag and the enemy tanks pushing toward our base, I was going to return back to base to help them. But seeing I am being surrounded, I try to make the last stand here. I have a soldier here trying to help me by taking out enemy vehicles that I am spotting. That T-32 will cause a problem for me later on. Here, me versus enemy around me. I finished off what things I can in the area. I finished the two arties off with one shot each. Now I am surrounded by vehicles that could easily flank me from the bottom of the map to the west or to the east. I had to take care of this M41 Bulldog. I got a lucky shot there. That T-32 there. And the IS-7 there, they're going to track me. By now would have been a good idea to use the other repair kit I had on me. That T-32 is going to keep tracking me. I am paying attention to the IS-7 and the T-32. I missed that shot. And the IS-7 killed me. I did quite well there. I got in 4 kills, 3 of them being artillery. I did moderately well by myself. I did about 3,400 damage in this match. Let's go to the next replay. This replay, I am platooning with a friend of mine, Mini Turk. Let me speed up the replay here. First thing first, I am heading into the city. Let me speed up the replay to get to the front line faster. I am poking out here just to see if anything is in the open. Seeing everything is secured, I advance forward to continue the push. Having a feeling that the enemy tanks is at E3 area, I moved to the rubble here. Pay attention to how I am angling my armor to ricochet a lot of rounds. I am hiding the lower glazes plate as much as possible while poking out. I fall back while loading, which allowed me to ricochet rounds off of the J Panzer and the Patton. I am going to wait here until I can actually advance safely. Right now, I am showing the enemy my turret, part of the pike nose armor, and the side of the armor. By side scraping at this spot, you can ricochet a lot of rounds with the IS-7 armor. There he hit a weak part of the IS. Probably from the side he shot. I fell back when I was loading to cover the weak part. I waited for the Jade Panther to come out, ricochet. Having enough of not penning the Jade Tiger, I switched to a PTR. For a Tier 9 vehicle, the Jade Tiger is quite well armored. I am timing my shot, seeing if the pattern comes towards me. Seeing everything is secured, I begin to advance forward. That pattern have to go. Fortunately, the APCR rounds went into the E75. Me and Miniturk, we are advancing to take care of this Jade Panther E100. We are using comms to communicate our action. There, I went forward to take the hit if the Jade Panther shot at me. By now, I am doing quite well in the match. I have ricocheted 3,000 damage and done about 2,900 damage so far. The first, I tried landing a shot before it died. I got a global hit there. That artillery is going to give me a bad day. He damaged my engine. Fortunately, I used a repair kit to repair the engine. This vehicle, it is quite slow with the damaged engine. Right now, I have the Top Gun medal secured. Everyone here is going to the cap circle. I looked to my left and behind if artillery was there. Right now, everyone is going to be hunting down the artillery. This replay, I did quite well. I showed you how effective the IS-7 can be when you play it quite aggressively and use the armor to your advantage. I blocked about 3,200 damage and did about 3,000 damage in this match. I also gotten a Top Gun medal as well. Let's go to the next replay. This replay, I am platooning with Soldier Child again in his M53/M55. This replay, me and Soldier Child carried the match later on in the game. Pay attention later on in the match when me and Soldier Child carried the game. First thing first, I head to the hills at the D56 area. That T-49 got wrecked by our team. I advance forward with the E-75 here. I'm being careful as I advance forward. I have a feeling that their TDs and heavies are going to be this way. Fortunately, I was right. Right now, I was at the wrong spot at the wrong time. Enemy artillery and vehicles from the hill in the middle of the map at G56 area shot at my side and took most of my hit points off. Here, I fell back to a somewhat secure location against artillery and advancing tank. I got a ricochet from a enemy tank. Now I am showing the enemy tank where most of my armor is. That E-75 must have had gotten a lucky slide shot, and the artillery used HE on me. Here, I moved the gun, the turret, and the tank hull to increase the chance of ricochet, while I waited for the loading time to finish off the E-75. That E-75 tracked me. I looked around quickly enough, and I was about to fire at the E-75 when the T-30 killed it. Seeing the northern area going to be falling soon enough, I advanced forward to support the team. I had a feeling at this time in the match that there were enemy tanks at the hill area at G6 area still, and did not want to take the chance of being side shot again. I am one-shotable for all of the tanks now. If you have a look at the map, we are in the lead for kills. But if I didn't do what I'm doing right now, falling back to a secure location and making a last stand here, the match could have had turned into the enemy favor. I am making use of the terrain here, protecting myself against enemy tanks if they're flanking me. I'm moving back and forth to increase the chance of ricochets. At this time of the match, Solar Child and we were coordinating our fire to finish off whatever vehicle remaining in the area. This E-75. I am trying to protect the light tank behind me. One extra gun in the game is better than a dead one. That E-100, I am letting it come up the hill and let Solar Child finish it off. It was a bit of a risky move there, but it paid off by not killing the E-100 there. I finished off that Tiger 2 and Solar Child killed the E-100. Right now, it is a cleaning up operation now to finish the remaining team. I waited for some backup before I advanced. Not knowing if the T-54 or the AMX were in a position that could kill me if I did advance, I let the AMX scout it for me. Seeing the AMX 50-120 is there, I used the terrain here to my advantage and waited for the AMX 50 to come to me. By doing that, the T-30 finished it off. I am stuck a bit there. Me and the T-30, we searched the map for where the T-54 is. The Allied team killed the T-54 off. This replay, I did quite well. I blocked a good amount of damage, 3,700 damage. I did about 2,600 damage plus another 1,300 assist damage as well. So I did quite well in this match. Let's go to the garage and do a brief recap. Let's do a brief recap on the IS-7. The IS-7 is a good tank to use once you have gotten used to the vehicle's strengths, weaknesses, and how to use it right. The vehicle itself, it is a good clan war tank to use once you have learned how to play the IS-7 quite well. The vehicle armor, it is quite good, especially if you know how to use it properly. With the thick armor and the angling added on top of it, when you are in a hold down position or angling the armor just right, you can ricochet a lot of tier 9 and tier 10 guns. You can even ricochet tier 9 and tier 10 APCR rounds when they are being shot at you. This vehicle, it plays just like the IS-3. So if you know how to use the IS-3, then you will know how to play the IS-7 quite well. I hope that you learn a thing or two about the IS-7 and how to play it properly. If you like this video, follow my channel and also leave a comment as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone.